From mid-century to contemporary, public to private, we're in search of the very best in art, homes, happenings, stores, restaurants, and people. Things that defy categories. The perpetual freshness and cool of modern never ceases to captivate us. Join us for another edition of Modern Dallas TV to discover what's going on and where in the modern world.
Modern Dallas Real Estate this week is high in the sky, looking over the city of Dallas. And I'm here with Ryan Strife and Jason Bates of the Perry Miller Strife Group. And we're here at the house at 2200 Victory Avenue. And this is Penthouse 2501. Ryan, this is an incredible, obviously the terrace is amazing, but this is a great unit. Tell us a little bit about this building and what people can expect.
Yeah. Well, this building was designed by Philippe Starck, and a lot of people know about the house. This particular unit, 2501, what makes it so unique, there's a fin that was part of the architectural design that's created this over 1,800 square foot terrace that we're standing on right now. And there's only 2 of these on this building.
So obviously walking in, this is a significant architect who actually designed this building. Give us a sense of who it is and what was their vision?
Well, I think he wanted to do something different for the city of Dallas. You notice that right when you walk into the foyer, just some of the architectural elements with the oversized legs on the concierge desk and the vintage postal boxes that you see as well. And then you'll see that same experience when you go to the large pool and terrace for the amenities level.
So Jason, tell us some of the features and benefits that people can experience when they come see this unit.
Well, one of the things that sets this unit apart is the 3-car garage within the garage. So you have one assigned parking space and a 3-car garage. It also has a storage unit that comes with it. You get all the amenities available to the building. And then really it's this terrace and this view from this terrace that set this unit apart from any other unit in the city.
Yeah, you virtually got from downtown all the way over to the Calatrava Bridge, Trinity Groves. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it is incredible. And that's the other thing too, is there's so many things to walk to from here. There's like over 100 restaurants within a 10-minute walk. Obviously there's American Airlines Center, but now with all the things happening on the other side of the Trinity, I mean, you just have instant access. So I think this location was good in 2007 when this building started, but now it's really incredible.
So this unit is priced at?
$1,799,000.
And they can see it on your website?
DavePerryMiller.com.
And if you want to see all the modern listings in Dallas, visit our real estate page on moderndallas.net. Thanks, guys. Modern Dallas Art this week is here at Samuel Lynn Galleries, and we're here to see the show by Metis Atash, Buddha Goes Punk. And I'm here with JD Miller.
Yeah.
JD,
Yeah.
what can I say?
I don't know. I got the hairstyle for it though. Just
this is
missing
pretty
the
cool.
spike. Yeah. Yeah.
So tell us how you came across Metis's work and what is the significance? Because each one of these pieces seems to have a story of its own.
They sure do. You know, Metis is out of Miami. She's based out of Miami now. And last year when we were there for Art Basel, we saw her at one of the exhibits and just, it blew our minds. And so we had to have her because she's not represented in this part of the country, and tracked her down, and now Samuel Lynn Galleries is her Texas representative. But we were just, I mean, we've never seen anything like this. I mean, you look at it and you can see why we were attracted to her work.
So obviously this is a little bit more Chanel or more decadent in some, but there are other pieces that are very traditional in style.
Yeah, most of them are though the more kind of decadent. I mean, each one of these has over 20,000 Swarovski crystals, just to give you an idea. Each one hand applied, so there's a lot of bling to them. But it's kind of an interesting story. She has the molds, she designed them herself, but they're actually made in Bali. and then she ships them over here and then hand paints them and then applies the Swarovski crystals over that. But they're always based on either a famous designer or a famous artist. Like she'll combine, say, Warhol with Balmain, you know, one of the designers or something, but it's really cool how she does it. Each one's unique.
And what's her background?
Well, she was born, I'm not sure where she was born, but she grew up in Germany, so she's kind of got that European presence. Spent some years in Bali, and then eventually wound up in Miami. And she's just, she is the sweetest person, just an absolute doll. And she's all about the law of attraction, which that's what we're about here. You're just putting out good energy. So she's kind of cool, good energy with an edge.
And these pieces sort of speak to you that way.
They really do. They really do. I mean, I absolutely love them. And the response has been phenomenal. It's one of the most successful shows out of the gate that we've had yet.
Wonderful. Well, how can they find you?
Okay, they can find us. We're on Dragon Street, right in the heart of the Design District, 1105 Dragon. But just check out SamuelLynn.com, and all the information about Metis is there. And although her show is down the end of this month, she will be here on an ongoing basis with us. Now we're about sold out of the original allotment that we've got, but as they come in, we'll be letting people know so they can check in with us.
Wonderful. And if you'd like to see all the art listings in Dallas, visit our website at moderndallas.net. The modern lifestyle begins in the home, and you'll find a range of unique living spaces across Dallas's most desirable neighborhoods. Start your search by meeting one of these modern realtors. Poget began his career with a degree in architecture, followed by years of interior design work, including the interior design of several luxury high-rises and commissions for clients' dream homes. Poget's distinct background makes real estate a natural fit. Modern Dallas this week is here at the Resource Center on Cedar Springs, and we're very fortunate to be part of this project because it sort of embodies what we try and accomplish every week, bringing great architecture and art together in our shows over the last 100 episodes, and this project sort of brings all that together. Ted, tell us a little bit about what the Resource Center is about.
The Resource Center really is the LGBT community center for North Texas. It began as the AIDS Resource Center, but over the course of 3 decades has grown in its services, what it's able to offer. Now it offers medical and dental service to the LGBTQ homeless community, HIV positive community, meals, a youth program, an elder program, literally so many things that were hard to accomplish and house in the Resource Center's former facilities. So a number of years ago, a campaign was launched to try to raise the money to build a larger sort of landmark facility.
And this sure is a landmark.
Absolutely.
So as we move through this wonderful space, we're here with the architect, Jim Langford. Jim, this tells a story. There is a bigger vision of what you wanted to create, but it came from a triangle.
It came from a triangle, and that was when we first started the project. As Ted had mentioned, there were 40 or so different groups, different members of the LGBT community that use this building, 40 different groups. And so our assignment was to, design a building that really represents what the Resource Center does and project that to the community. And so how do you, as an architect, tell a story of so many different groups? And the triangle really came about because of these pink triangular memorials from the existing facility on Brown Street, which is where we started. And these were memorials that were placed there back in the 80s from members of the community that had passed from AIDS. And they were pink triangles. There was an inscription on them that was very moving to me and very emotional. And it seemed to make sense that given the orientation of the site being important to the corner of Cedar Springs and Inwood, that the triangular shape as a building really began to make sense, because the pink triangle, was what the LGBT community wore in the World War II at the death camps. And that was the symbol of the community, but now that's been transformed into a symbol that is of acceptance because of, and acceptance and equality because each side is equal. And so that shape had a number of levels of meaning. And also it became an iconic shape and a symbol for the building, which seemed to really make sense. So as you can see, there's a tremendous amount of glass in the building. The corners of the triangle are all glass as they come together, which the message to the community is one of transparency. That this is a see-through building. This is a building that there's the activities that go on here are, part of this community. And not only that, but it's also about seeing out of the building. The long facade of the building, as you can see, opens to the long, is parallel with the skyline of Dallas, whereas the other facade, the adjacent facade that faces the east, overlooks the park. So that was also, the triangle also forces its way to the street, which then really begins to address the corner of Cedar Springs and Inwood in a very strong way. The other thing that you'll notice about the building is the grid on the floor being the equilateral triangle, kind of a favorite organizational device of Frank Lloyd Wright. But you can see it also structures the locations of all the walls in the building. And also the other thing that one notices is that there's no cladding of the steel columns that hold the building up. They're meant to be read as steel. The X bracing for the structural frame is all exposed. And all of that is about part of this whole concept of everything is out in the open. We're not covering things up. What you see is what you get. And also just the use of the very modest materials. Nothing's really put on in the building. And all of those come together to really tell the story about what goes on in this building. And then the art in the building, as you see with the Gabriel Daw piece behind us, really works with the architecture to enhance the experience.
Wonderful. So as we come to near the end of this journey, the art is significant. It really brings together the community in a very subtle way. Yes. But with great work from great artists in Dallas. How did that all come together, Ted?
Well, when we knew the building was going to be a reality, we formed a committee of arts professionals that each brought something different to the table. And that committee was comprised of Lucilo Pena, Nancy Whitenack, Annette Lawrence, Scott Presley, and James Shackelford. And all of us got together and talked about the mission of the Resource Center and how the art can sort of tell the story of the Resource Center, but not literally, more poetically. And then we assembled a group of what we thought were A-list artists, not necessarily all LGBTQ, but all with Texas ties. And we got our A-list together and we asked our A-list, and all the A-list said yes. So what we ended up with is a pretty incredible collection that was entirely donated for the benefit of the Resource Center. The Capital Campaign didn't spend a cent on it, and the art community in North Texas was really amazing at how everybody stepped up and wanted to be part of it.
So with that said, there are a lot of stories with these pieces. How do they translate to this project?
Well, the bottom level of the Resource Center sort of talks about our history, how the Resource Centers came into being as the AIDS Resource Center during the height of the AIDS crisis. And it tells about losing friends, losing loved ones, and the struggle of dealing with HIV. But not with, everything in the bottom level is not totally without humor and joy, because even at the height of the AIDS crisis, we still were a community that celebrated ourselves. So we have a piece like David Ellsworth back here that represents light and energy. And then as you go upstairs with the Gabriel Daw, you see the rainbow, which is the symbol of the gay and lesbian community, but not in a literal sense. And it leads you upstairs to where you have clouds and a representation of the future of the community.
And then finally, Pam Nelson's piece.
Oh, Pam Nelson's pieces are incredible. They're all, she donated that entire body of work to the Resource Center, and each one of those medallions represents a small town in Texas. And a few of those small towns were locations of hate crimes. And so we sort of thought by hanging these, we're reclaiming those towns for us and trying to get rid of the memory associated with what happened there.
So one of the last pieces, besides Pam's, is the wonderful piece by Deborah Ballard in the front.
That is probably the cornerstone of the art collection and was the last piece we added. It's called Welcome, and it's a female figure whose hands are outstretched. We put it outside of the facility to welcome not only the LGBT community to our center, but everyone.
And if anybody wants to find out more about the center, how can they locate them?
It is www.myresourcecenter.org.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for the time, Ted.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
To wrap up this edition of Modern Dallas TV, we cover local modern events and the art scene. Check out the calendar and the arts page on our website at moderndallas.net. There are always great events from the Dallas Architecture Forum, Preservation Dallas, and the Dallas Center for Architecture has great walking tours in downtown Dallas. Open houses every week, always a great selection. You can create your own mini mod home tour. And Todd Camplin covers the art scene for us, from art galleries to museums and artists. You can check out his page on the website. And lastly, if you're in the market for a modern, mid-century modern, contemporary, home, high-rise or loft, we simply have the finest moderns in Dallas. For this week, we appreciate you being part of our show. We'll see you later.